Yes, good morning. Good morning, Baltimore. Good morning to our syndicated cities. And good morning to everyone who loves our show, which is called There is a Place. And we want to take you there on 106.1 Praise FM. You're listening to your co host, Jamie Chris, and I'm here with your favorite host, Dr. Matthew L. Jones. Good morning, Dr. Jones.
Good morning.
Good
It
morning.
is very nice to be able to come to you this morning, come to Baltimore and the surrounding areas.
Definitely.
Surrounding
nice.
areas. Good morning, D.C., Delaware. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. I was waiting for you to say that. That's my favorite line. Good morning, America. And we're happy to have you because you had a busy morning already this morning. You preached this morning. You got a men's fellowship.
I spoke for the state's men's group.
I don't know how you do it, Dr. Jones. You keep it going. You had to speak this morning.
The men.
That's a good thing.
Empowering
the men.
Hard-working, faithful men for God.
That's right. Amen to that. Absolutely. And so you guys had a program this morning, right? And to lift them up, was it for Black History Month? Or?
It was motivation for the task. They use 2 Timothy, 2nd chapter, 2nd verse 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Where he said, be strong in grace.
Yeah. Be strong in grace.
Then he went on to say, the things that I've taught you and showed you, Timothy, during my life, these things I want you to have and teach other men and have them to teach others.
Okay, there you go.
So motivation. I said, this is what have brought us this far.
Okay.
Us motivating us.
Us motivating us. That's what's brought us. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's all we had.
We must not forget that. We must not forget that.
Yeah.
That's why I lift every voice in by saying, be true to your God and true to your native land. When it said true to your native land, be true to being black.
Look, that sounds like my friends. My friends always tell me, like, Jamie, don't forget you're black, right?
Don't be ashamed to say.
I'm not ashamed, but I think that's hilarious because my friends are always saying, Jamie, don't forget you're black. And I'm like, I know I'm black. I know I'm African American. That's hilarious.
To be true to your God. Now, whatever God if you say God, then there's something that is, if it's not the ultimate God, there's something that you place a lot of trust, faith, and belief in.
Okay.
Be true to that.
Be true to whatever your God is. We know who our God is, though. That's right.
True to your God.
Yes.
And true to who you are.
To who you are. Okay, I like that.
It's extremely important because if you're not true to your God, that's what your inner concept, your God, and your native land, then you know what I call you?
Oh, Lord.
A schizophrenic.
A schizophrenic. That may be a very good descriptive word for someone who switches up. Yes.
Yeah, who is split-minded.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Split-minded. Okay.
Yeah. Thinking that they're one thing and all together they're something else.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, it's a lot of people like that in the world. I don't know if they've been diagnosed as schizophrenic, but you are absolutely right. So that's a big deal, though, that you guys take the time out here at Concord to actually invest. Like, you guys invest in so many different ministries, and you guys lift them all up equally. So you have your men's ministry, which was this morning, and I applaud that because we always.
State men.
Oh, this is for the state.
Oh, yes, state of Maryland.
So your church is you're just hosting it here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the host for that, and of course, what about the Saturday school? Is Saturday school happening this morning too? I love it. Oh, so we packed it. That's why it's nowhere to park, right? Okay, good, right? So right now, again, if you're listening, we're broadcasting live from Concord Baptist Church, and they have lots of things going on here today. I always like to lift Dr. Jones and his ministry up in his church and his congregation because they're actually, again, this is what we push on our show, is doing the work, right? So they're doing the work in the community. They're hosting the men of the state here this morning. Dr. Jones you were their guest speaker, right? So you spoke on their topic. Then you have the Saturday school, which is the development of the 4 squares. So that's happening now. So you guys don't even some places can't even simultaneously host and do multiple things, but you guys have the kids here. They're in their classes. And so this is moving.
The key fact is that the church must never forget they have to motivate people at all ages, especially starting with the small children, elementary school, helping them to identify within themselves the special gift that God has given them. Because I believe that God has given everybody something special.
That's true.
So if you start helping them to identify in their young age, they will be very successful and progressive regardless of how much education. And that's what Paul was emphasizing. You don't have to find educated men to do this,
right?
Important men to do this, good-looking men to do this. Just find persons who are faithful.
Persons who are faithful. Okay.
So they'll focus on, that's what the base focus on. And that's what, and to be faithful, you have to be true to yourself.
I love it.
That's the only way that you can.
And because there's somebody listening, though. There's somebody listening right now, right? They hear that all the time. People hear the cliche of be faithful, be faithful. And people are just like, well, sometimes there's some people that need it in lame terms, like what does it mean to be faithful? And like you said, to be
faithful is true to yourself.
True to yourself.
You know, that's the only way. If you can't be faithful towards one thing, and it denies what you really feel.
Okay, I like that.
You know,
So
you have to connect those two things together.
Right. Okay.
If you're really going to be effective.
Effective. I like that.
And enduring.
Okay.
See,
enduring too. Right.
You
Okay.
have to face some major challenges. And if you're not true to yourself, then you're not going to be able to take on those challenges. You're going to be defeated.
Yeah. Of course
and
you
quit.
will.
And that's what we have. Too many people.
That's life. That's what's happening now. Because we have a lot of people who just give up. They give up too easily, and they don't, like you said, have the endurance to persevere.
And the reason, as you know, we talk about there's a place we want to take you there, and that place that I have been focusing on is self-employment, self-ownership, but but that place also is confidence in one's self.
Okay.
And God-given abilities. That's another place that we need to make sure that we
I agree. We definitely need to take people there. That is a journey because we all need that.
Because Jeremiah 29 once again said what?
I love it. For I
know the plans that I have
Yes.
for you, declares the Lord, the plans to
prosper you
and not to harm you.
Not to harm you.
And to give you hope and a future.
Hope and a future. I love it.
And that's what we've been focusing on. That's
a big deal for us.
I had some amazing experiences in stores that among some black workers. And
Okay.
all this, some, you know.
Who you telling?
It was exciting, you know, when I began to talk about, you know, the things that they can do. Then they kind of opened up to me. Yeah, I do have my own. I work here, but I do have my own business. I do this. Let me give you my number so you can call me. And I do have my guy saying, yes. A woman came from out from D.C. somewhere. Said, yes, I do have a son that came out of prison for 17 years, and these are the things that are
happening.
His ideas that he got in his head.
Okay, yeah. So these are what he thinks about. So since you told me
this and these principles that you're illustrating here, I'm going back and telling him he can do it.
Reach one, teach one. That's
he can do it. So, but you know, this is African American History Month.
I love it. You said He said African American History Month. Everybody, that is what we should be calling it. But most people are like, oh, it's February, Black History Month. I love it, Dr. Jones. That's what's up.
Be true to your native land. African American.
Be true to who you are. That's true. Yeah, and I have friends who actually really, you know, have gone to the surface of, you know, finding out where their ancestors are from, their culture, what do you call it? Like what tribe they were from in Africa. Like I've had some people that really dig deep into who they are. And I think, you know, I applaud those people. Me, I don't have the capacity, but I appreciate, you know, how God made me and who he made me, you know, to be, you know, and that's a big deal for me. And I don't think I would, matter of fact, I don't think I know that I would not trade being me, female and African American for anything else in the world. So kudos to God for just making us all different and making us, you know, in his his likeness and his image, right?
Yeah,
that's it right there. And so, we are, this is African American History Month. Some people call it Black History Month. And so we like to lift up, you know, all the positive things in our communities. We like to talk about like all of our forefathers and people that have laid the foundation for us and where we come from. But we do have some things that we do want to recap before we get into like our Black history, like FYI kind of lesson. So we have we want to lift up that Concord is having something for Ash Wednesday, right?
Ash Wednesday. Worship service.
Ash Wednesday worship service.
This coming Wednesday,
10 a.m. in the morning? Oh, that means somebody got to take, no, well, you got 2 weeks, because
Yeah,
Because this week is,
after now,
2 weeks from
It's the
this
20,
week.
it's the 22nd.
Yeah, today's what, the 11th? So, yeah, 11 days
Yeah.
from now.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that is almost like 2 weeks. Yeah, almost, but like a week, right? So that's almost coming up soon. But this is a big deal because there are some people, like, I think when the pandemic hit, like, a lot of churches used to do, like, the Ash Wednesday service, but then it seems like, the last couple of years, people have fell off.
That's
So
right.
yours is in person.
We have been doing it virtually
Right.
for the last 2 or 3 years, and originally, we did it at 6 o'clock in the morning.
No, that's not for me.
We had a lot of individuals
Right.
that were working,
Okay.
and they were delighted in coming. We had a large number that would be here at 6 o'clock in the morning, then they could go to work.
Okay. Well, no, that makes sense, right? So if you do have it at 6 o'clock, people like me who have to be to work,
Yeah.
8:30, 9 o'clock, they have the
1 hour
opportunity to
from,
come
yeah,
here.
6
Okay.
to 7, have enough time to get to work. So
Right.
So that was, but for years, that's what we're doing. After the pandemic, this is
Okay.
the first time we're doing it at 10 o'clock.
Oh, this is your first time doing it 10 a.m. And what made you do 10 a.m.? Okay,
Well,
that's good time, though. I mean,
I'll tell you what was suggested
people that work.
to me.
Uh-huh.
It was suggested to me that we do it at 10 o'clock because we have a lot of parishioners who have gotten older,
okay.
and they want to come to the Ash Wednesday services.
Okay.
So they've gotten older, and it's difficult for them to get out at 6 o'clock.
No, that's
So we
what you should be
accommodate
doing.
the elderly people.
Accommodating our elders.
And
That's
the
right.
pastor come in at 10. That was the motivating factor.
Oh, nice. I mean, that's good that you're considering your entire population, your congregation, and that is that's a key thing, right? So right now, that's something we motivate people on our show to do. Like, not only are we trying to reach our young people and people with talents and motivations, but that is key, that we still have to embrace our seniors and make sure that they fit into the dynamics of what we're doing and everything that we're trying to implement in our communities, right? So this is a big deal. So
And
Ash
over the
Wednesday,
years,
what you gonna say?
Amazing thing, over the years, we have had pastors from a lot of our churches who be here for the 6 o'clock service to do the speaker.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, because is this almost is it set up like do you only have one speaker?
Only
or-
one
Okay.
speaker.
One speaker. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And
But every year we have every 2 years, because they would come in 2-year patterns.
Oh, okay.
Every 2 years, we have a different speaker. So we had a lot of the pastors all over the city who have been here I've been here a few years.
Quite a few years. I gotta laugh to that one.
And
Excuse
this year,
me.
we have a very special pastor.
No, I
So
think I'm looking at the flyer now. This is pretty amazing, and I love her because I've heard her speak several times. But again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Ash Wednesday worship service that's going to be at Concord Baptist Church, where we're broadcasting live from today, and it's on February the 22nd at 10 a.m. And if you don't know where Concord is, it's 5204 Liberty Heights Avenue. Again, that's 5204 Liberty Heights Avenue. Have any questions, you can call us
Can I ask
directly.
preacher?
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna
Yeah.
highlight the preacher. Oh yeah, let me go back real quick. So the preacher, because Dr. Jones wants to make sure that you guys hear this clearly, is Reverend Carmen. Is it Carmony or Carmen? I like to pronounce her name as Carmen Washington Flood. She's our guest preacher, and of course, she is the daughter of my favorite college professor, Dr. Minnie Washington. That is her daughter, so she comes from a great stock. So we're gonna get you.
In our
Whoever's
church?
here is gonna get a good word. And
Church?
so, the church is again. It's at
Saint-
Concord. What church is she from?
Come from St.
What's it, Saint?
Only-
No, I don't see it. What's the church? She's it's on. I would have said it, Dr. Jones, but we'll come back to
Saint-
us. Is it not Saint Timothy's? What's she Saint? What church is she from? And it'll come back to me because I know what church she's from.
Yes,
But
we'll
again,
talk
she'll
about-
be
we got
here.
a couple of weeks, another week
Yeah,
to talk about it.
we'll
so-
bring it back next week. What church is from? We'll
thought it
have
was
some
over.
more information, but she is going to be here at Concord Baptist Church on Ash Wednesday for worship service. Again, the she is Reverend Carmen Washington Flood. She's the guest preacher. And, of course, Dr. Matthew Jones is the pastor of Concord. And again, this event is on this Ash Wednesday worship service, not an event, February 22nd, 10 a.m., 5204 Liberty Heights Avenue, West Baltimore. And you can call us at 410-367-1117, 410-367-1117 if you have any questions about this worship service. I keep calling it an event because it's a flyer and it's amazing, right? But also, you can also call the church if you have any questions about our show. And so if you've never listened to our show before, you're just tuning in, again, the name of our show is There Is a Place, and we want to take you there. And that is a place that Dr. Jones has laid a amazing blueprint out for, a place of self-employment and home ownership and just community building. And so we have 3 phases because it's really a mentor strategy. Like, we use the show as a platform to pretty much lift up the strategy, but it is a strategy that we are implementing, and we're getting plenty of pastors, business owners, community leaders. Plenty of people are helping us push this movement along. We've had, lawyers on the show. We've had assisted living owners, adult daycare owners. We've had people that touch every aspect of our lives. We've had women who own demolition companies. We've had a plethora of people on this show, and shout out to all of our guests. We've had Miss Ann Sokas, I think I'm saying her name right, to do training. Of course, Dr. Jones sitting next to me, we know he's the big boss of it all. He has plenty of real estate, plenty of land, and he's talked about his facilities, the school that he has. He's talked about the real estate aspect. He's talked about the assisted living business that he owns. And so we've just been able to pour into people. In 2022, we lifted everyone up that is doing the work in their communities. And we just want to get to the second phase, which is when we open up for classes and we have people in person that actually want to incorporate their businesses and really find out how to get started. But again, the mentor strategy is 3 phases, right, Dr. Jones? First phase is to show how the church is and always has been the leading, the most economic, the largest economic entity within our community, right? And then the second phase is to, and really with the first phase, bring the church and the businesses back together. And of course, we always say that we want young people in any age, anybody who has a business they want to start, we want to bring them back to the church, and we want the churches to start by lifting up the business owners in their church first, and then we want to be able to connect them to other people in the community and in the church that want to start an existing business similar or, even something different, but we all have the foundation on how to start a business. Second phase is to do what? I love to bring the industrial arts back into the school system, right? It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And Dr. Jones always says, and I've been sharing this conversation with several people on how in our city, all the industrial arts are in the high schools, right? And so what you brought to light and what you shared with me, our listeners and everyone, is that there are other countries and other places, and really the blueprint for industrial arts should begin in elementary school, like with our young babies. And so if they start there and then it progresses to middle school and then we make it to high school, like by the time our kids get to high school, they're well endowed in their trades and in their fields and in the things that they're talented in. So if they don't finish high school or if they don't have plans to go to college, they have something to sustain them, right?
That's right. They have a trade and gift and
something to
motivation, directions.
Something to take them to the next level in life, to adulthood, right? And so then the last phase of the mentor strategy is to bring home ownership, to tie in home ownership with large corporations. And it could be anyone. And I always use John Hopkins, and then you have now you have Under Armour, you have all of these big companies here, your Amazons, all these companies that come to our city and surrounding counties, and they have a plethora of money. They have facilities, they have all of these great things, and so we're charging them to create a plan for home ownership, one, to build up the community, because if they buy homes in the community and they allow their employees to own them, then people will take care of the communities, and our communities won't be eyesores, right? And so it's just a really wide range but very scaled down, it's a very scaled down method to pretty much lift up our communities. And ultimately to do what, Dr. Jones? I love when you say to reduce crime. Like, we have to reduce crime in our communities. I was listening to 92Q, like I was on my way here, which is another RadioOne station. As I was coming here, I just happened to have it on. My kid had it on, and I love that they have this public service announcement where they are really saying, they're putting in like lame terms, like our city's in trouble. The crime is happening, and they're charging everyone to stop the crime and to reach one, teach one, so that someone else can tell someone else about the positive impact that we're trying to have in our city, right?
Yeah, let me talk a little bit about Baltimore. I came to Baltimore and my first official trip to Baltimore was in '86, December the 8th of '86. And so I'm glad, thank you for inviting me to Baltimore. I'm glad to be here in Baltimore. And Baltimore has a little city. DeBurns was the first African-American mayor of the city.
Okay.
He became mayor in 1987 after the existing mayor resigned to become governor of the state. But the first elected mayor was Kurt Liddell Smoke. And
Okay.
he was
Wait, hold on. You said Kirk? Are we talking about Kirk Smoke?
Kurt Smoke.
Oh, that was my favorite mayor. I remember him as a kid. Baltimore, the city that reads. Like that was his slogan.
Well,
I
he was
loved
the
him.
first elected black mayor in the city of Baltimore.
Really?
Yes.
And he didn't he have like 3 terms? Like
He served from 87 to 99.
wow.
That was, he was a
He
long
had a
time.
run. That was a run. Like, yeah, if I was going to be the mayor, that would be me, right? I love it. Yes. Kirk
But the
Smoke.
first black mayor in the United States was in 1869, who was William Burnett Scott Sr.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the mayor in Maryville, Tennessee, the first black mayor in the United States.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
The first, so Tennessee had the first black mayor in the United States. Oh, nice. In Tennessee. And would you believe what's happening down that, I
It's
can't.
It's amazing.
Don't get me started, Dr. Jones, because when you just said Tennessee, that struck a little nerve because I'm just getting, I missed the whole movement of the, oh, Jesus, I cannot think of his name, but the Michael guy, everything that just happened down there.
It's 1860. That was a Reconstruction-like period. It's where a lot of progressive things were happening among black people.
And what year?
1869.
1869.
Yeah.
What progress was
but
happening
you
there?
had, it was also at that time, around that time, you had the first black United States senators
Oh,
out
nice.
of Mississippi.
Oh, in Mississippi. That's close. That's
that
where
was
you
the
from. Yeah.
period-
Okay.
No.
You're
My mother
Arkansas.
was from basically Mississippi.
Okay. Nice.
But then this is a amazing experience that we have come through, and I'm making reference to the progress that have been made here in Baltimore since Kurt Smoke, which was the first elected mayor, black mayor.
First elected. Oh, so he wasn't. So when you say first elected, he wasn't the first
No,
run.
he was not the first black mayor.
He wasn't the first black.
DeBurns was the first black mayor. He became mayor after Schaefer's resigned to become governor.
Okay, so he didn't run.
He didn't run.
Okay.
He was
Automatically appointed because that's how.
after the
Okay.
resignation of the existing mayor.
Nice. Okay, that's how
He
it's
was
set
the
up. Okay.
president. He became the president,
He was the president of city council.
city
then.
council. He
Yeah.
became president 1983. He became
Okay.
president of the city council.
And then Schaefer was and you said Schaefer was the mayor at the time?
Schaefer was the mayor.
And he resigned so that he could run for governor, right?
Right. He
Yeah.
became governor.
Oh, well, he did, yeah, but he had to resign in order to run.
I don't know if he
Yeah, heck
resigned
yeah, that's
before
what
he
happened.
ran or after he.
Oh, well, he resigned. I would hope he resigned to be the governor. But okay, that's smart though. That's good information. So, so our first
so
mayor, the
was
first black
DeBurns,
mayor
yeah.
was DeBurns,
Yeah.
but that was because he was elevated into the position from being city council president. But
Yeah,
the
that's-
first elected mayor in
was Kurt
Baltimore
Smoke.
was Kirk Smoke, and he was my
And-
neighbor too. I grew up with
And
his daughter.
DeBurn,
Yes.
therefore,
Uh-huh.
DeBurn was the mayor when I came here.
Okay.
Shortly after, Kurt Smokes became mayor. So I happened to be in Baltimore when we had the first black mayor and the first elected black mayor.
Okay.
So I take delight in knowing that I was here.
Oh yeah, but you definitely were here. I love that, Dr. Jones. So that's good history and good motivation and African American history for our city, Baltimore. But when we come back from the break, you have some good information. Like, I can't wait to get into this. You shed a little light on W.E.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington prior to us going on air, but I cannot wait to hear more about it. Dr. Jones has something special to share with us, so don't go anywhere. Again, you're listening to There's a Place. We want to take you there, and you're listening to 106.1 Praise FM, and it's one of Radio One's favorite stations. And if you've never listened to us before, we're here every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, and we'll be right back after our favorite song. You want to take us into your favorite song, Dr. Jones? This is your favorite song. We are the people. What is it? We are the people, and we can do it, right? That's what you always say. I love it. So we'll be right back after this song. Shout out to our engineers for making it happen. Logan.
I'm gonna kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I kick it like this? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change.
right there, right in the middle of the rap, right? Some people are listening and they want to hear that rap. Sorry, guys. We pushed our first half a little longer than we normally do, but next week we promise we'll play the song out a little more. But again, you're listening to 106.1 Praise FM, one of Radio One's favorite stations, and you're listening to There's a Place, and we want to take you there. I'm your co-host, Jamie Chris, and I'm here with your favorite host, Dr. Matthew L. Jones. Welcome back, Dr. Jones. Welcome back.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
We want to talk about two individuals.
Yeah, because it's African, like Dr.
really,
Jones said, African American History Month.
Yeah, that
That's
really
right.
demonstrate what our program is about.
Okay, yeah, I love it.
These two persons, they were, and far as I am concerned, I like the concept that both of them presents. They were in opposition to each other, but I think it's essential that we utilize both concepts, both Du Bois and Booker T. Washington. So those are the two individuals that we want to focus on. Now, let me tell you a little about their birth. Booker T. Washington was born in 1856. He was born in slavery, 1856, and he lived to be 59 years old.
Wow.
He died in 1915. And so he has a tremendous experience that he had, and we're going to be talking about the experiences of him. As everybody knows, that he became kind of like the original leader, president of Tuskegee, Tuskegee University now, but it was Tuskegee Institute back in that time, Industrial Institute, Tuskegee Normal Industrial Institute. Let me get the exact name.
Okay, yeah, right.
The
That's
Normal
it.
Industrial
Okay.
Institute back in that time. And we would talk about how he happened to be, become that. Maybe let me throw out a little something for Hampton, because he went to school in Hampton.
Yeah, okay. Shout out to Hampton University. You know, I love my HBCUs. Kudos.
And I think Hampton was referred to as a normal institute, Hampton Institute, at that time.
At that time. Okay. So it wasn't an HBCU at the time.
Yeah. It
Oh,
was,
okay.
well, sort of, because he was, well, I don't want to jump into
Yeah,
it
yeah, because
ahead, but-
that's a whole long conversation. But yes, we love Hampton. That's it.
Because a
That's it.
general that was over black soldiers in the Civil War played a major role in starting Hampton.
Okay.
He was a white guy, but he played a major role in helping Hampton to get started. And he also played a major role in, we'll talk about that later, in having Booker T. Washington become a student there. And he also played a major role in having Booker T. Washington become the first leader and president of Tuskegee Institute.
Okay.
So, people, we must recognize we have to help one another.
We do. We absolutely
Because
do.
the foundation of this, economic foundation of this nation is because of the 200 or 300 years of cheap labor and free labor that came from black people.
Oh my goodness. I mean, absolutely. But I love both these people here, because I think this is so significant. And as you brought them back up to me, and we were talking about it before we came on the air, it brought back some memories of learning about black history in school. And so in school, they teach you, the different things and different accomplishments that all of our, African American / black leaders have implemented. But what makes the two of these individuals so special, not only were they two great leaders of the black community in the late 19th and 20th century, they were two great leaders that sharply disagreed on the strategies for black social and economic progress, right?
yes.
So that's what makes, when people put these two names together, it's because their opposing philosophies, can be found in much of today's discussions. And so I think
It is a discussion today because
it is, right?
Booker T. Washington was industrial art, of course. And that's what we've been talking about, one of our faces, industrial art. And Booker Du Bois was liberal arts.
Yeah.
And we know we emphasize getting an education, graduating from high school.
Of
going to
course,
college, liberal
yeah.
arts. So we,
that's what I was being
so
said.
I said, they represent both of the things that we are.
Both
We're
of their
saying that
strategies.
we're not one or the other, but both.
Both. I think that's important. Both are still needed. And so I think that is really important because, like it says, their opposing philosophies can be found in much of today's discussion on how to end class and racial injustice and what the role of the black leadership is and what do the haves owe the have-nots in the black community. Like, I love how they put that. Like, what do they owe us? Like, that's a big deal.
Let me introduce Du Bois a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
W.E.B. Du Bois, because he was born in February the 23rd.
Okay.
February the 23rd. Should I emphasize February the 23rd?
February 23rd. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, go ahead. February 23rd.
My birthday is February the 20th.
Okay, so wait, but so your birthday February the 20th. You got
My
Ash
mother's
Wednesday.
birthday
Okay.
was February the 22nd.
22nd. Oh, on the same day as your Ash Wednesday worship service. That's your mom's birthday. Okay, and then February 23rd.
And 23rd is Du Bois.
Du Bois, another greater,
Birthday.
another great person.
In 1868. So he was about 12 years younger than Booker T. Washington.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, so wait a minute. Oh, he was younger than Booker T. Okay.
Yeah, Booker T. Washington was born in 1856, and he was born in 1868.
1868. Okay, that's the difference.
So,
Okay,
yeah, so
got it.
he was younger, but when you check the record, actually, he lived 50 years longer than Booker T. Washington.
Oh, wow.
But the amazing thing about him was the inspiration he gives to people who are older. Du Bois give all kind of inspiration.
Oh, yeah, he does.
To older people, because he did miraculous things after he was 80.
First of all, you said you could go back to what he started when he to go back to what he did at 80. But when you said that he moved to Ghana when he was 92 years old, that just took me over the top. That right there just took me over the top.
Well, let's work our way up there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was it. Right. That was it for me.
Yeah. So he was born in Massachusetts. Du Bois was. He was born in Massachusetts, and he fortunately his mother, and that's what made me like his history even more. His mother emphasized that he had to be educated. He had to go to college. She emphasized that.
Yeah.
And see, my father died when I was 14, and my mother emphasized to all of us, it was 14 of us, she emphasized to all of us, your father was an educated man, and every one of you all going to college.
That's
So,
it.
and that's what his mother said to him. So when he finished high school, he went to Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And that's where he started his education. Of course, he was one of the first black graduates of Harvard University.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Du Bois was one of the first black graduates of Harvard University?
University.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Du Bois. I did not know that. And if I did, I forgot. I probably had a teacher teach me that back in elementary school, but I forgot.
Well, he actually started in 1888. He started in Harvard, Harvard at 1888. And he finished his master's and started working on his doctorate. And then of course, he studied in Germany.
Oh, wow. So he was able to get outside of America. Like, he was able to live somewhere else. That's a big deal.
Yeah, Berlin. But
Berlin, Germany.
So he did some miraculous things. Let me tell you.
Yeah, let's find out what Dr. Jones thinks is important.
The amazing thing about him was his involvement in different educational institutions. He literally actually went to Tuskegee, the person who had oppositions with, and taught at Tuskegee during the summer where Booker T. Washington was.
Oh, nice. So that's where those guys crossed paths. Was that their first? I'm assuming that was like one of their first encounters.
Well,
that's
when the Niagara movement started.
Okay.
Because the Niagara movement was the opposition to the principles that Du Bois was talking about, industrial. The Niagara movement was focused on liberal arts, different approach. Yeah. And when Du Bois joined the Niagara movement, that's when the real opposition to Booker T. Washington really started. Because the Niagara movement was an existing organization that was already representing a different concept than Booker T. Washington was talking about.
So they were already connected, and so then he joined. They were both part of the same organization then. At one point in time.
Booker T. Washington was not in the Niagara movement. That's when Du Bois joined him. He was teaching at Tuskegee. That's when he joined the Niagara movement, who was against Booker T. Washington.
Nice. Okay, got it. Okay, they were against his concept. Okay, all right, I follow you. I follow.
Yeah, they were. Booker T. Washington was emphasizing the necessity to develop farming skills and industrial skills and methods and stuff that will maintain economic. He's saying that there was an economic force that could be maintained among the black people if they keep themselves separated.
In their communities.
He believed in desegregation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
segregation. Like
no. I know exactly what you're saying. I love it.
And so he said they keep themselves separated and focus on their self-economic, develop these industrial type skills. They could advance themselves economically. Now, I think we talk about like that. That's what we need to do in our community.
Of course. I think it's really super lame. So wait a minute, do you have more on Du Bois? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a whole lot of them.
Okay. Well, I'll let you take that, and then we could go back to how their concepts, clashed, like how they, and how they both make sense in today's society, right? So I'll let you finish. Give us some more insight on Du Bois.
Well, after Harvard, the amazing thing was he.
Again,
he
I
was
had to go back.
teaching-
You said he after Harvard.
Yeah.
Okay, after Harvard, he was doing what? I love that
He
part.
was teaching a class in Rutherford University in Ohio. So, so he was working in different educational systems.
In different states.
Yeah, and but the unique thing about it, he was writing at the time these concepts. He was writing these concepts.
And here we think black people just starting to travel. They've been traveling. They've been making moves. I love
he
it.
did some traveling.
Yeah. I'm
in
impressed.
Germany and everywhere. He did some major traveling.
Yeah, these are the things that I don't remember the teacher sharing with us in school. I don't know. Maybe I
Yeah.
forgot. But yeah, so go ahead. So
In
he traveled.
1896, I think.
18 what?
1896.
1896?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when he married Nina.
Oh, he got married. He had a
Yeah.
wife. Okay.
He got married, and this part of a major experience, because when he was in Atlanta, his son got sick, and he traveled all night looking for a black doctor, because white doctors wouldn't treat.
Oh yeah, I heard about this
And
story.
his son died. And,
Just because because a white doctor would not see him or
Yeah.
treat him, and so he couldn't find a black doctor.
there was
to
3
save
black
his son.
doctors, I think, in the area, and he was looking for one of them.
He was looking for one.
And unfortunately, he ran into difficulty trying. I don't know. They may have been.
Either way, he was unsuccessful because of the color of his son's skin.
Yeah.
He could not get his son treated, and so that was in what year was that? That was in around what time?
That was in 1890. I'm 18.
That was in the-
1901.
Okay, so that was like the top of the 20th century.
He
Okay.
married he married in 89.
Okay.
1899. So 1901 was around the time. When
Oh,
his
so his son was a child, like a baby.
He was young, very young.
Oh, wow. I don't remember learning that. Well, I know I heard about that story. Okay, so good. So I'm sure that after that, that was probably sparked even more.
Well, he wrote the suppression of the African slave trade in the United States of America from 1638 to 1870. That would influence the impact of this
Okay.
particular writing. Because of he was talking about this slave trade and and he gives the devastating experience of the slave trade, but not only just the slave trade. Critical race, I think, what they're arguing about critical race theory right now.
Yeah, of course, every day.
I can see them getting this concept right out of, because he wrote this history piece beginning in 1638. And critical racism started they thought their concept a little bit early, when they first came here in 1619. But he wrote this. I think this is a piece of literature that we probably need to go back and review what Du Bois wrote here about this slave trade in the United States. But he brought it all the way from 1638 to 1870. So he gives kind of like a whole historical experience, not only the trade that is coming through he showed that this slave trade, the agony of the slave trade went on a long time. There were many trips that were brought slave in that oppressive situation from Africa here. See how many years, from 1638 to 1870. So that must, A lot of time when we're thinking about this, we think it's happened just a few times, but that's a lot of years. But it's what he wrote about in this slave trade. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love these two. And so do
And
you
he-
have? Oh, go ahead.
one more thing, now, then you can pick up. He emphasized, and this is an amazing thing, Randy. He emphasized that the black community greatest challenges are. What do you think they are?
Oh, what are the
Number
great two?
one, poverty.
Of course.
Number two, crime.
That should be number. I don't know which one should go before the other
The
one.
concepts that he
Crime
was
or
writing about
poverty.
are the things that we now if they'd have taken him serious, it wasn't. I know that it was not as bad when he was writing about crime in the black community as it is now. Nothing like as bad.
I
There
don't
was
believe so.
segregation and there was a lot of control.
And we didn't have our children didn't have access to guns like
No,
they do
no,
now. It's,
segregation.
you can't even compare. Right.
But he said crime was one of them. Poverty, crime, the lack of education.
Yeah.
The boys was high on education.
Oh no, that was the height of his whole
Yeah, that's what he
movement,
emphasized. Liberal arts,
education.
yeah.
No, that's a big deal, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
He talked about the special. He said there was a certain percentage of black people who have special gifts of education should be highlighted because they can set the stage to help the rest of us.
oh yeah, they
I don't
can
know
lay
if I'm in
the
the
foundation.
rest of us, I don't know if I'm in the side of the educated one or the uneducated.
You on both sides and you on the stage. You on the stage setting the platform for all of us. That's what you're doing right there. Yes. Okay.
And then, so number one, poverty. Number two, crime. Number three, the lack of education. And number four, distrust of people outside of the community.
Distrust for people outside the community. And there you have it. I mean, those are 4 things that are still happening in 2023. Yeah.
The greatest challenges that we face.
And we're
those
still
are the
facing
things
them.
that we are trying to emphasize here in the show.
Yeah, no, for sure.
How to resolve those 4 major experiences.
Yeah.
We said that the church needs to get into the community.
Of course.
And develop a relationship where there won't be a distrust for people in the community.
Absolutely.
Outside of the community. So
You want to definitely make sure that we emphasize that. And I think so what I do like, so Booker T. Washington, sidebar, this is a little FYI, a little thing.
Okay.
Booker T. Washington he was the first African-American on a stamp, which was 10 cent, a 10-cent stamp. So he was the first one. That's always the one thing that I like to remember. Shout out to my mom.
First one invited to the White House by
Okay. The first one invited. See, there you go. Like my mom shared that with me because she's doing like the Black History board at our church, so she's her
Theodore
thing with stamps.
Roosevelt invited him to the White House.
Oh wow! So Booker T. Washington was the first African American invited to the White House.
Yes.
Ah, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna follow Booker T. Washington. I know I'll get my invite to the White House soon. But so Booker T. Washington, of course, he was an educator, a reformer, and he was the most influential black leader of his time, which was his reign was 1856 through 1915, and so he
died
preached.
in 1915.
Yeah, that was a long time. He lived a nice little life, and so but
30,
he preached.
What was it? 20,
You said 59, right?
35 years.
Oh, 35. What?
He was the president of the Institute, Tuskegee Institute, I think, for 35 years.
He had to be a long time, but it looks like he
I
lived.
think for 34 years, I think.
Yeah, so he lived to be
I think I
59.
tried
I
it
think
on
that was the age. You said he lived to be 59 years old. And so he preached philosophy of self-help, racial solidarity, and accommodation. He urged blacks to accept discrimination for the time
Accept
being.
discrimination.
Yeah, he didn't believe in doing all that migrating and to concentrate on elevating themselves through hard work and material prosperity, which is something we still need to do today. Like we need to work on our own communities, elevate ourselves through hard work and material prosperity. And he also believed in education, like you said, in the crafts, the industrial arts, the farming skills, and cultivation of, virtues and different things of that nature. But like something big that I think even now, like the farming skills, like you have a lot of people, activists now that are in 2022, 2023, that are really pushing this farming, that we should grow our own fruits and our own vegetables and to really push
and
that.
the difference at
Uh-huh.
that time and the difference now, at that time, a lot of the farming had to be done with individuals, people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And,
of course.
and I know when I was growing up, we had to use a lot of people for the work of our farm and stuff. But now, or 2 people can do it, because they have the equipment.
They have so much equipment, like it's no reason for us really, and I'm really motivated. Like I think I'm gonna start like this spring. I'm just gonna start out with a few things in like my backyard to just see how I can do some farming. But again, he said that all of these things, with the enterprise and the thrift and just focus on our community, he said that this would win the respect of the whites to lead to African Americans being fully accepted as citizens and integrated into society. So I think his strategy, of course, like you said, it's still needed, but it should be. What?
The method to use to have a relationship with white is have money.
Oh,
that's what he said.
Well, let's clear. If you're look, there's somebody driving their car listening to us right now that will agree that that culture, our white people or whatever you want to call them, our Caucasian Americans, like if you have money, you're accepted into their circle. But we also know from this concept, no matter how much money you have, if they want to treat you a certain way, they will treat you how they want to treat you. So money at a certain level does not mean anything. But what talking, the Du Bois, right? So that's what I'm shifting into, right? And so, like, Du Bois was a towering Black intellectual. He was a scholar, a political thinker, and so he lived from 1868 to 1963. Like, he lived a super long life till 95 years old, 90 something. I mean, hey. And so, Washington's strategy would serve not only to perpetuate our people, but to perpetuate white oppression. And so Du Bois advocated for political action and civil rights agenda. And then what I love about Du Bois, this is something I can't forget, and I'm so glad that you brought it to the forefront. We always have to remember this, that he helped found the NAACP. Yeah. Like, that is
after
our
the
foundation.
Niagara movement, it was out of that where he made his relationship with the NAACP and one of the founders of the NAACP.
Absolutely, because they said in addition to him helping found the NAACP, he urged that social change could be accomplished by developing a small group of college-educated Blacks he called the Talented 10.
Yeah.
That's it, right there.
That would be me. The Talented 10.
Yes, that would be me. I would be a part of that group right there.
Rest of it. He said the Talented 10 could lay the foundation to help the rest.
For everybody.
The rest of us.
Yes, he did. Oh, the rest of us. Oh, including yourself, right? That's it. And so he said the problem of educating them amongst Negroes would be a big deal. And first of all, to deal with the Talented 10, he said they would be the board or the influence that would help solve our issues and educate our entire community. That would be a trickle-down effect, right? And so, and I think that's important. And so it's the problem of, and like he said, it is the problem of developing the best of our race, that they may guide in a mass way from the contamination and of the bad skills that we have. That's it. And so, and Logan's coming out. We had a great, look, Logan said it's time, right? So we get to talk about our guys, right?
One more thing about the Bureau of Labor Statistics. He became an employee of the Bureau of Labor Statistics in 1897. So there's so much more that he did, because he wrote The Soul of Black Folk. Some of the writings he wrote, The Soul of Black Folk.
The Soul of Black People? Oh, so we may, Dr. Jones, I don't know, because these guys got a lot going on. We may have to stab at this next week.
Yeah, because the main thing about it is directly related to our focus. And the thing that we really need to talk about is the thing he did after he was 80 years old.
Oh, yeah, that's where you got me going. That's the part I thought we were going to get to. That's why I threw out there. I was like, oh, he moved to God at 92, because I was so excited, right? So we're going to come back. So next week again.
I read the negative thing that they tried to put on Dr. Martin Luther King was that in his latter years he became a communist.
Oh, wow. About Dr. King?
No.
Oh, about this guy. Du Bois. Oh, a communist after King or during King.
Well,
you're saying?
I'm saying it was during he became a communist during the year when King was coming on the scene.
Nice. Okay.
And that's why they accused King. You were communist because some of the principles
that he took along from Du Bois. Nice. Okay, so that's the connection. I love it. So listen, guys, you got to come back next week. Again, we're talking about in Dr. Jones's words, African American History Month, and now most of us know it as Black History Month, but that's what we're talking about. We're touching on this.
He was 59 when he died. My father was 58 when he died.
So, oh yeah, They're close in age, right? Dr. Jones, he knows history. That's what I love about Dr. Jones. He actually has so much knowledge and foundation. But again, you've been listening to There Is a Place. We want to take you there on 106.1 Praise FM. And shout out to everyone that's been listening. We'll be back next week, same place, same time. I'm your co-host, Jamie Chris, and I'm here with your favorite host, Dr. Matthew L. Jones, broadcasting live from Concord Baptist Church.
St. Timothy.
Oh, there you go.
Saint
That's it.
Timothy.
St. Timothy. That's it. That's what we're talking about. Ash Wednesday. All right, we got it. We'll talk about her next.
Lift every voice and sing, earth, heaven, ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies resound. The rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. March on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, the chastening rod felt in the days when hope unborn has died, yet with a steady beat and not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers died. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter, out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met.